IS. Today's I'm take up a new topic that is it is from Indian society. It is the book is Social Change and Development India, class 12. I start this series because it is quite related to the sociology. So understanding some concept of Indian society and social change in India is important, and as well as we have in the syllabus in the Indian society we have this topic. So this is taken from class 12, social change and development in India, and it is chapter 5. Sorry, chapter 4. uh, so in this series, I will try to summarize the key concept from chapter 4 and focusing on the sociological aspect of change and development in the rural society in India. Rural society, more than just agriculture, it is a way of life. Indian society is primarily rural, so with about 67% of the population living in rural areas as per 2001 census. Agriculture is not just a livelihood, it is a way of life that shapes culture, as seen in harvest festivals like Boishakhi, seen in Punjab and also in West Bengal, that is called to Nabanna, and Bihu in Assam. And diverse occupation. Rural life traditionally supported artisans because on the best rural society, you will say various kind of artisans. What is the artisan? That is potters, weavers, and some specialists such as priests, storytellers. Though many traditional crafts have declined since the colonial period. And rural urban interconnections. Today, many rural residents works in non-farm activities, including government services, factories, or the army. So, as per the time change, there's occupation also to change. Agrarian structure, that is land, caste, and class. Unequal distributions. Land holdings is highly unequal. Access to land defines the rural class structure, determining one's roles in agriculture productions. So, if we check that ownership of the land, we'll say it is the majority of the zamindars and the high status persons, high class person who possess the ownership of the land, and the rest of sections who deprived of this ownership of the land, and they become just a laborers in that land. And at the same time, women are not allowed or are not given the as the ownership of the land. So unequal distributions is there on the basis of the gender and on the basis of the class and caste as well. So caste and class links, there is a complex relationship between caste and class. In many regions, a few major land owning groups, often termed dominant caste by immense renewers, hold economics and political power. See, whoever hold the land, they will have that surplus of the productions. They will have more capitals, and this they become the dominant caste in this way that this land give them the powers, the economics and also the political power, because the economic power leads to the political power, cultural power. So this caste and class links is very much dominant and um, uh, prevalent in the Indian society. Labor relationships, traditional bonds like bonded laborers, examples, Halpati systems in Gujarat. So, bonded labor ties the working force to landowners, though these are now legally abolished thanks to the legal system. So bonded labor is basically what that you will be like a slave to the owner of the land, and your generations will keep on working. So as a laborers to the land, to that to the owner of the land. So it will be some kind of cards to the family who are supposed to be the bonded labor. But yes, as society do change, laws comes and it abolished. So impact of land reforms. Um, See, colonial legacy. The British land revenue system like Jamindari led to low productivity and increased rural poverty. If you can remember the Jamindari systems from our modern history, what are the characteristics of the Jamindari system? You will see that how the peasant are tortured, and they don't have nothing left, just they have to pay the rent, and there was no limit of the rent, and all things that a jamindar can take from the peasant. So mm, and so the cultivators used they lost the motivations to cultivate the land, and they are and it bring a lot of inequality, and not just poverty especially in the rural area, because agriculture is dominant and prevalent in the rural areas, and it can, and as you can I have seen that it is 67% of the population. So India's economy is largely was rural, it's, agriculture based, and rural societies there. So it was very much a concern for the policy makers to abolish the systems that if you can remember, and it is in 1956 that Jamindari system was abolished in West Bengal and some others state, so that agriculture remain survived, and peasant have a good is a decent standard of living they can get. So post-independence reforms, they aim to modernize agriculture and ensure social justice. Yes, the abolition of the zamindari systems ensure the social justice as well, by abolishing intermediaries and redistributing land, and through their though their impact was uneven across different states, because it was basically that see, we can make the policy, but it is basically the bureaucrats and the politicians that in actual bring make it implemented in the practical society. So that's why there was some kind of different uh, uh, um, differentiations in the implementation sections. So after the post independence, um, they aims to do these things, and some state do this very successfully, and some state not. But it somewhat brings some positive change. Okay. So after post independence, we can see the modernization of agricultures and social justice ensuement by abolishing intermediaries, and in the Jamindari systems, they set the limit of holding the land, and they distributed it to the peasants. So the redistribution of the land was there. The green revolutions and the social consequences. So technological modernizations. A government programs in the 1960s and 70s involving high yielding variety seeds and new technology. See, as we have find that it is very much agriculture based economies. So so in order to be self reliant and and for the food security of our country, and for the social justice and economic growth, we the country started focusing on the agriculture sectors. First thing they did into in the policy level, they did they abolish the jamindari systems, and then coming to the technology. They brings a high level of HIV seeds, new technology, so the productions boost up. Okay. And social inequality, it primarily benefited mediums and large farmers who could afford expensive inputs. See, though the government can't take the initiatives and all things, but it is at the it is but yet but it is somewhere it is a society. There are some other barriers, some other causes is to hide that make this policy, makes this government initiative false. And as it is as and here we can see one of such reasons, that is medium and large farmers, because the poor farmers, they are very much uneducated and they don't have that political powers and access to get them. So here again it brings inequality, and this led to the differentiations where the rich grow richer because they are getting the benefits of the government schemes and facilities, and many poor farmers stagnant because they are not able to catch up those government schemes, and they left behind. Psychological crisis, modern methods replace traditional knowledge, and organic seeds with hybrid seeds varieties, so leading to the environmental crisis and a loss of biodiversity. So what happens, though green revolutions um, make some positive result in some of productions due to the seeds and technologies, but it makes and bad impact on the environment as well, along with social inequality, because what's this they will make the what's the water will polluted, biodiversity will be losses. um these are some others side effect of green revolutions. So, and the transformations in rural social relations, from patronage to exploitations, relations between landholders and workers shifted from hereditary bonds to free wage labors, often described as a shift from patronage to exploitations. Though the bondage labor systems abolished, but what happened? Still, they are getting exploited at. By some other sections, the dominant caste. Diversifications in prosperous region like coastal Andhra or Gujarat. Well-to-do farmers invested agriculture profits into others' business, creating new regional elites. Once they got more benefits, they diverted their money in others' activities, business and regional and others things. Remittance economy in state like Kerala, rural economies is heavily transformed by political mobilizations and money sent from families members working abroad. Yes, what say the rural economy is heavily transformed by political mobilizations and money sent from family members working abroad. So some of the members go to the abroad, and yes. Circulation of labor and feminizations. These are not the characteristic of rural economy, right? We are just doing it the section wise. This is the subsections that you will find in this chapter, social change and development in India. Just open the book, you will see that as per the in the chapter, this is a subheadings. Okay, so circulation of labor and feminization, migrant labor. Commercializations lead to its patterns where local workers leave for work elsewhere, while migrant workers are brought in. In search of work, people used to migrate from rural to urbans and other state as well. feminization of labor. As men migrate to other state or other regions, cultivation became a primarily female task, where women are often excluded from land ownership due to patrilineal agency system. See, this is some kind of what. Uh, Although they are doing that economic activity in the land, but what say they are not getting the ownership of the land. So this kind, I mean, this kind of this is some kind of exploitation. So we can see, right, in the patriarchal society. So feminization of labor. The female got the chance to cultivate the land. They do the cultivations, but what's they are not getting any kind of ownership. And globalizations, liberalizations, and rural crisis. This seventh one. So market integrations, liberalizations, policies since the 1980s integrated Indian agriculture into the global market via WTO. Globalization is, we all know that it is interlinked and interconnections between, but not between, amongst many countries around the world. So our economy got exposed to the outer world. Contact farmings, multinational companies like PepsiCo contact farmings to grow specific crops, ceded the risks and controls to large corporations. So as you know, so the land is a major major see what are the factors of productions, right? So we have the agricultural land. So once it get exposed to the outer country, the big companies, for the sake of the economic activities, they came to our countries, started getting access to this land and producing some crops that will benefit them, since such as they can those agricultural crops they can use as raw materials for the productions, and then they will sell it to the market. So what they see, what kind they do the contact farming, so that we taking the land for some period of times doing these activities, and it will closed. And farmer suicide, a new phenomenon links to a matrix of events including a decline of state support. So once and whilst the globalizations to happen, and it is actually whenever some kind of changes happened or what or initiative were taken by the government, it is always the upper section of the society, dominant caste of the society, who get much more benefited, and the poor and deprived ones always getting the disadvantage one. Because we are reading, so as Indian society, so we have to understand both good and bad, and some loopholes where it is lacking. So a new phenomenon links to a matrix of events, including the decline of state support, high debt due to expensive fertilizer, pesticide, and crops failures. So the poor ones lacking the support of the state government, and sometimes crops failures, disasters do happens, and it make a total disasters for the poor farmers. And yes, when we will study, if we have that sociology optionals, email times, we'll do very much explains these sections that um, this for these ones there is some kind of uh, social causes that makes this happen. I not explain it here, just hinting it for the sociological student. So this is a very good and broad broad concept we find in the change and development in rural society. We understand the what is the rural society, its features, what the rural society was in the traditional areas, and structures. We see the dominant caste, and when the after the colonial period, Jamindari system was abolished, how it changed after the post-independence, and then the Green Revolutions comes, and then when the globalizations to happen, there happened a much more bigger changes in the agriculture and rural economy as well. So this is all we have to do in this chapter, change and development of rural society. I will try to give you some questions and answers in my Telegram channels. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. So and please to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.